What's up, sports fans? This is Talk a Lot, where we talk a lot of sports. We're going to be talking a lot of Saints at Falcons today. If I'm talking too loud, let me know. If you have a question or a comment or a concern or a prediction or a pick, I'm going to be letting you know my picks for college football real quick at the start of the show. We're going to dive right into the Saints after that. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook, deposit $5, get $200 in free play. Over on the far left bottom of the screen, Helm Paint. This podcast is decorated by Helm Paint. 504-861-8179. And as always, our friends over at Bear Law LLC. We're going to listen to this from Bear Law. We're going to talk about the best hair on the Saints team. That's by H2O Salon and Spa. We're going to listen to this by Bear Law, and then we're going to get started. Leave your comments, ask your questions right now, and I'll get to them as soon as I can, probably at the start of the show, because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, here we go. It's Talk a Lot, where we talk a lot of sports, presented by Boot Crew Media and Bear Law.
At Bear Law LLC, we have the privilege of representing victims and survivors that are oftentimes involved in catastrophic incidents that affect their lives.
If anyone looking for a personal and loving relationship with law, I would choose Bear Law.
At Bear Law, our goal is to turn victims into victors.
Bear Law LLC, 504-372-0111. Again, 372-0111. What's up, Saints fans? I had a little problem with the camera, but hey, I feel so close to you right now, even though I'm so far away. We're going with the wide view today. You get a whole look at the studio. You got a little company burger sneaking in over there. Shout out Propels Talk. Shout out Justin Napoli. Mike Bergeron's joining the show. I mean, Saints 55, Falcons 3, an early bold prediction. Obviously, the Saints won against the Packers in week 1 last season with Jameis Winston 38-3. And of course, Aaron Rodgers went on to win the MVP, and the Packers went to the NFC Championship. They lost in the divisional round, was it? Yeah. They lost to the 49ers, who then lost to the Rams, who then beat the Bengals and Joey B. So, nevertheless, the Saints could lose 38-3 and still make it far in the playoffs, as the Packers did. But we want to win the Super Bowl this season. We're going to talk about what that's going to take. And let's take things game by game, step by step, paintbrush by paintbrush, and win this game week 1 in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium against the Atlanta Falcons, the Dirty Birds. Mike Bergeron, I appreciate your support, my friend. Again, you can drop a comment on Facebook, YouTube. I think it's only those two. If you're on Twitter, feel free to tweet, retweet, like, share, whatever. Hit that comment button, hit that like button, hit that share button. But on Twitter, your comment's not going to show up. So you got to go to YouTube, click the link on YouTube if you're on Twitter listening, so that you can leave a comment and I can show it on the screen like Mikey B over here. Okay, big news, big headline today. Michael Thomas limited at practice, but at practice nonetheless. I want to say one thing, and it's probably going to sound cliche and cheesy and like I'm always defending the Saints, but Saints Twitter is a hateful place. It can be. It's a great place. It's a great community. I don't want to call it hateful. But there was a community of hateful fans, particularly on Sunday night and Monday morning. And that was the LSU fan base. And again, I'm proud to be a part of the LSU fan base. I hope that it's just a bunch of burner accounts and people hiding behind their screens. If the rumors are true that there was hate mail sent to LSU players and Brian Kelly. I'm going to talk about LSU and college football very briefly, because this is obviously titled Saints at Falcons, picks, predictions, Mike Thomas, injuries, etc. And that's what brought you here. That's what made you come here. But look, I don't want to be a part of any community of people that's going to send hate mail to 18, 19, and 20-year-old athletes. I don't care about the NIL culture. I don't care that They might get paid some sponsorship money or a lot of sponsorship money. I don't care if your expectations were so high and you were just resting your firstborn son on the, the success of the LSU season. If it's gambling or if it's money that's motivating you to send, please don't send hate mail to athletes, much less college student athletes. If you're part of the LSU fan base, I don't think if you're a true LSU fan, you would do that. Again, social media world allows us to create burner accounts and hide behind a screen and things like that. And I don't want to get into it too much. I'm not disappointed by any one person or by any one group of people. But if those rumors are true and for whatever reason you were a part of it, and I assume you weren't if you're listening to this show, hopefully you kind of see where I'm coming from when I say, like, let's not do that, right? With that being said, my two picks for college football, and then we'll jump into the Saints, are both from Carolina. Okay, I got a buddy who works for Duke in the scouting department. Duke is going to play Northwestern, and they're +10. Duke had a 30-0 win, over Temple in week 1, a shutout victory. The defense was stout. The quarterback played great. Northwestern had a 31-28, I believe. I don't know where my notebook is. 31-28 win over Nebraska. Okay. So a 3-point win over Nebraska versus, a team that just won 30-0. Now, again, Nebraska is a better team than Temple. But I like Duke to win the game, but I'm not going to, tell you to go money line on this one. I'm just going to tell you, sprinkle a little bit on +10 Duke over Northwestern. And then UNC is -7 or 7.5 against, I'm blanking on the team. I don't know where my notes are. I don't know. Somebody tell me. North Carolina. Let's look it up. Georgia State. Yeah. North Carolina at Georgia State. The Panthers of Georgia State. UNC's 2-0. Georgia State's 0-1. I think they definitely cover a 7.5 point spread. So I like that action. Okay, go to DraftKings Sportsbook to be a part of that action. And thanks again, Mike. I just realized I left your comment up on the screen that says you look great. Thanks, pal. Okay, so Saints questions. Leave a comment, ask a question about the Saints. Again, Michael Thomas was back. He was limited. All right. But I spoke with John Hendricks after practice today and after the press conference. We heard from Dennis Allen. We heard from Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston said that James Hurst is a guy he really trusts. He said that Michael Thomas is elite of elite. Okay. Regardless if Michael Thomas plays, I know how you feel. If he doesn't play this game, what are we going to be dealing with all season? It's not going to be an all-season thing. And if I'm wrong about this, feel free to blast me on social media. Heard it before, been there before. It's fine. Let me know if I'm wrong. In week 2, if Michael Thomas isn't playing, please let me know. But we want him to be healthy. We want him to be fully ready. He was limited at practice today. He said he wants to play. He obviously wants to play. And this is going to be my big take on Michael Thomas. And then, again, if we have any more questions or comments on the can't guard Mike end of things, I'll definitely get to those. But my thing with Michael Thomas, and yes, I'm definitely going to talk about Paulson Adibo, so great point. My thing about Michael Thomas is, and you just heard Chris Rosberg, he was just live on YouTube. He had a great show. I'm wearing his shirt right now, the Straight Up Saints podcast. And somebody commented, Mike wants to be where he was in 2019. He said he wants to be. And again, this is nothing against any leading question that any local or national reporter might have asked him. When you ask somebody the leading question, do you want to be? And I don't think anybody even asked that. So again, I'm just basing this off of one comment that I saw on Chris's show. He said he wants to be where he was in 2019, where he once was, whatever. I just don't like that phrase. And I know I'm going to sound cheesy and cliche when I say this, but like when you ask a leading question, are you going to be who you were? Do you want to be who you were in 2019? And what is he going to say? No, I would not like to be the offensive player of the year. Right. So yeah, he probably would answer yes in some form or fashion to that question. But let's rephrase that question. And again, I'm going to sound cheesy, but I don't want Michael Thomas to be 2019 Michael Thomas. Call me crazy. Call me insane. I love that word. I want Michael Thomas to be 2022 Michael Thomas comeback player of the year. I want him to be the guy that I guess maybe took a couple articles written about him by a local writer or a national writer or any rankings. I want him to be the guy that let that bother him a little bit, maybe because he mentioned it at a press conference. I want him to be the guy that sees, again, whether it's burner accounts, whether it's actually Falcons fans pretending like Saints fans, hating on Michael Thomas, whether it's actual Saints fans who don't like him, because I know there are many who don't know what the heck is up with Michael Thomas, or, they don't think he's all in, or, holdouts, whatever it may be. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to not like any player in the NFL. And if it's Michael Thomas and he's on the Saints and you're a Saints fan, then that's the way, you like it. And that's fine. What's up, Greg? Thanks for joining. But again, I want him to be 2022 Michael Thomas, comeback player of the year, trying to bring either comeback player of the year to his own name or to Jameis Winston's name, but most importantly, trying to bring a Super Bowl to Dennis Allen and the Saints' name. So again, I want him to be the guy that has been through what he has been through physically, mentally, social media-ly. Overcome all that, put that aside, put the helmet on, put the visor on, suit up, pad up, lace his shoes, and absolutely freaking dominate. And he's going to be able to do that because Jameis has other people to throw the ball to. Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, the Juice Man. And I say Taysom Hill because I'm going to tell everybody once again, and then I'm going to talk about Paulson Adibo for you. I say Taysom Hill because you see that DraftKings thing right there? Is it right there? Yeah. If you're not a bettor, if you don't have the money to lose, don't do it. If you do, this is my little hand motion. It's called a sprinkle. All right. I want you to just sprinkle a little bit. 5, 10, 15, 20. A little bit on Taysom Hill to score the first touchdown of the game against the Falcons. And if you don't believe me and you don't want to waste $20 on this guy who's sitting in a podcast studio talking about the Saints, just another local reporter, talk show guy, that's fine. But at least sprinkle a little bit on any time touchdown. Look, the odds for first time touchdown, I'm sure are going to fluctuate a little bit, but it's got to pay out at least, if I were to guess, 20-1. And I'm going to look this up before the end of the show and let y'all know what that line is. So stay with me here. But Taysom Hill, in my opinion, is going to be Jameis Winston's favorite goal line target. And I also think in 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s, a little play action rollout, Taysom Hill out route. Look, I'm completely biased because 1, I love Taysom Hill. 2, I have his jersey. Well, actually, no, I gave it away in a giveaway. 3, I think his story's incredible. I want to write a book about this team and center it around Taysom Hill. And just the fact that I drafted him in both of my fantasy teams. If you have any fantasy football questions, drop them right now. If you have any college football questions, drop them right now. Going to be covering some high school football this weekend, some big Catholic League games here in New Orleans. Jesuits 1-0. Brother Martin's 1-0. St. Aug is 1-0, I believe. Rummel is 1-0, but I believe. Desterhan's 1-0. And I'm going to be covering Desterhan versus John Errett on Friday. All right, let's get to Paulson Adibo. But ask your questions, leave your comments. I'll show them. I'll answer them. We can have a good back and forth. I'm going to talk for another 10 or 15 minutes, and hopefully I cover everything that I want to. What about Paulson Adibo? Okay, so Paulson Adibo was the MVP of training camp in the offseason for everybody who knows. Okay. As of today's practice, Michael Thomas was limited per Mike Triplett. So were left tackle James Hurst, linebacker Pete Werner. Traquan Smith and Paulson Adibo were not limited. They were not participating. We'll get an official injury report tomorrow. There's no point in me saying at 8:26 p.m. Central Time whether or not Paulson Adibo is going to be limited at practice, fully at practice, or ready to go for Sunday's game. Nevertheless, it's a good question, what about Adibo? Because the answer to that question is so simple. Paulson Adibo is more locked in than anyone. And it is really unfortunate that he has such a fantastic OTAs, minicamp, training camp, preseason. And now he's facing this little hiccup of an injury. It's nothing season ending. It's nothing that's going to be, the quote unquote out indefinitely. It's not going to be anything that, we look back and say, man, unless we play him in week 1 because he thinks that he's ready, or because the training staff thinks that he could play, or and I'm not going to get into that. I'm not a doctor. That's not up to me to talk about. I'm going to see the injury report tomorrow. And I'm going to say, okay, he's practicing. Friday injury report, okay, he's limited. Questionable for game time. We see it on fantasy football. We see it on injury reports all the time. Questionable. Game time decision, whatever it may be. We would rather play a not so good Falcons offense without Paulson Adibo and have a closer game because he is not there, and count on Bradley Roby, and count on Tyrann Mathieu, and count on Marshawn Lattimore, and count on Demario Davis, and count on Alante Taylor, the rookie out of Tennessee. Let's count on all these guys, because that's why we got all these guys. That's why we can trade C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's why we can get over the obstacle of Marcus May's arrest and unpredictable situation. That's why we can be a dominant defense regardless of the inevitable thing that is called injuries, the inevitable thing that's called game time decisions. All right, so I hope I answered your question. I know it's not exactly what you want to hear. It's not any more inside information than you can find on Twitter, at Boot Crew Media, at Talkalata, at John J. Hendricks, our guy who writes for Sports Illustrated and also works for Boot Crew Media. Follow all those guys. We're going to update you. We're going to let you know if Paulson Adibo looks ready. We're not going to assume anything. If he says he feels ready and he looks ready, we'll let you know. We're not going to say he's ready or he's definitely playing, because that's probably not going to be given to us. But moving right along. What's up, Greg? I can't wait for Alvin Kamara to absolutely dominate the Falcons defense. And I say that with a grain of salt because my high school teammate, Debo Jones, plays for the Falcons. But regardless if Mike Thomas is out, regardless if Jameis Winston can just pickpocket and pinpoint the Falcons defense in the passing game, short passing game, long passing game, Deontay Hardy deep, Chris Olave deep, Jarvis Landry over the middle, slant routes to Michael Thomas if he's there, out routes to Taysom Hill, whatever the hell they run. Pete Carmichael knows what he's doing, and he knows that Jameis Winston is coming back from his first game since week 7 of last season. And he knows that he has one of the best running backs and most diverse pass catching, juke spinning running backs in the NFL. And he's got a great backup in Mark Ingram. And he's got a good defense. Because no matter who's injured, no matter who's out, Dennis Allen is our head coach. We're not going to have hiccups on defense. The most hiccups we will have on defense, no matter who's on the field, will last a half of football this season. Mark my word. That's a bold prediction. I'm sure we're going to have some, really shaky game on defense. Maybe it's against the Bucs because Tom Brady finally figures us out, which he hasn't been able to yet. Maybe it's against any of the high-powered teams that we're playing, like the Bills or the Rams this season. But Dennis Allen really doesn't let a half football go by with shaky defense. If it happens in the first half, he's going to figure it out in the locker room before they step back out on the field for the third quarter. If it happens in the second half, you can damn well be sure that come the first half of the next game, they have those things cleaned up. They had those situations ready to defend. Will Michael Thomas play Sunday? It's the same boring answer as Paulson Adibo. All we can tell you is that he wants to play. Dennis Allen wants him to play. The whole team wants him to play. Does his body want him to play, I think, is really the last question we're waiting for. The best sign that you can take away from today is that he was at practice. Limited at practice, but at practice nonetheless. And so that gives Jameis comfortability when the play is called in to throw the ball to Michael Thomas in whatever route he may run. That gives Chris Olave and Jarvis Landry and Taysom Hill and Deontay Hardy and Marquez Callaway and Adam Troutman comfortability knowing, okay, this is how fast I need to run this route so that Mike T, can't guard Mike's going to be open. And even if he isn't open, you cannot guard Mike. Shannon Richard, great question. Again, I just wish I had a better answer. We're going to see the injury report tomorrow. We're going to see the injury report Friday. Hopefully it's not, in Michael Thomas's case, a game time decision. We'd rather know one or the other, I think, as Saints fans, as players, as Mike Thomas himself, as Coach Dennis Allen, as offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael. I think we'd rather not have, and look, I don't know how that conversation goes between trainers, medical staff, and coaches and players. I have no idea. Everybody in the NFL has done a pretty darn good job of keeping that as, in the medical sense, doctor-patient confidentiality. Everybody has those rights to those conversations and for that to be inside closed doors. But I think we'd all agree, every last one of us, we'd rather, in Michael Thomas's case, not Paulson Adibo's case, because Paulson Adibo could just be like, an ankle injury lingering is not a good sign. Okay, let's see how he runs on Friday. Let's see how he does on Saturday on the treadmill, whatever it may be. Okay, he's ready to go. He's not feeling any ounce of pain. It's like that pain scale you see in the doctor's office. If Paulson Adibo is not feeling any ounce of pain and his ankle's not bothering him, he's not worried about it, he doesn't have to wear extra padding on his ankle, I think Paulson Adibo will be fine. Maybe he'll be a game time decision and it falls in the right direction that he's able to play and he's not even worried about it. And the second that he feels his ankle bothering him, he comes off the field for the rest of the game. I don't really want that to be the situation. But again, game time decision, Paulson Adibo, that's fine. Nobody wants, in my opinion, a game time decision for Michael Thomas. Olave stat prediction for week 1. So I'm a big Taysom Hill guy, and I think Taysom Hill is going to score a touchdown. If you just joined the show, you should sprinkle a little DraftKings money on that. Chris Olave to score a touchdown would be awesome. Maybe he doesn't score a touchdown. Because I think it's almost like it's kind of like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in their respective rookie seasons. It's like I don't remember if they scored in the first game, but I think they got a couple catches. They got familiar with the offense. They built quarterback, chemistry. And then they went off in week 2 or 3 or whatever it is. It happens a lot of times that way for rookie wide receivers who are due for a breakout season and potentially a rookie of the year honor. So Olave stat prediction, I'll go with, I think he's going to catch one deep ball, or just like a 10-yard pass that he turns into like a 40-yard play. So with that being said, I'm going to say 5 catches, 85 yards. Please quote me on that and remember that I said that and let me know how correct I am. I think it's either going to be 5 catches, 85 yards, or like 5 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown. Because I'm getting really weirdly specific about this, I say that because I think the long pass that he might catch, and I'm just spitballing here, but the long pass that he might catch might come early in the game, and then he might like be tackled. Let's say he's inside the 50-yard line. He might be tackled for like a 40-yard gain at the 10, and then they end up like running it in with Alvin Kamara, throwing it to somebody else. But if that long pass doesn't happen, maybe they target him in the goal line. And so that's why it would be 5 catches, 50 yards and a touchdown, if that makes sense. Let me know, CYTRACX, whatever that is, however that is pronounced. I'm sorry. I'm going to guess Cytrax. If that's right, please let me know because I'll be proud of myself. All right, we got 3 minutes left. Any other questions, comments, predictions, picks, fantasy football, quorums, conundrums? All right, again, my college football picks, UNC. Where's my notebook? Hang on, bear with me. I had some notes on this. Here it is. All right, UNC -7.5 over Georgia State. Duke +10 over Northwestern. I like Alabama to cover a 20-point line over Texas. I like Florida -6 over Kentucky, an SEC game. You have 2 in-state games that I wouldn't touch at all. Iowa versus Iowa State and Houston versus Texas Tech. I wouldn't touch those. I would take University, for all you Louisianians out there, I would take wait, I'm trying to read this comment. Go pick up Alec Pierce at wide receiver. Okay. I'm going to look into that because honestly, I don't know who that is. And if I sound like an amateur, please let me know. Alec Pierce, wide receiver, Colts. Oh, he's a rookie. Named Starter. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I feel stupid. I'm sorry. Strongest wide receiver opposite Michael Pittman Jr. I picked Michael Pittman Jr. in 2 of my 4 fantasy leagues. Alec Pierce. Where did this dude play college football at Cincinnati? All right. You know what? You sold me. I'm going to pick up Alec Pierce. I'm sorry that I forgot that I didn't know who he was. He was the 53rd pick of the draft, picked in that Michael Thomas range of the draft. Interesting. No, I'm glad you said something. I appreciate it. I clearly need to freshen up on my fantasy football IQ. AK is going to be his best this year. Watch. It's kind of like when Michael Thomas said, what is it? No regrets. Watch me play now. We're going to put that on a t-shirt as soon as he comes in game 1 or after his first touchdown. Those t-shirts will be printed and on bootcrewmedia.com. No regrets. Watch me play now. How many sacks do you think the D will get against Marcus Mariota? And remember, folks, the NFC South has 3, Heisman Trophy winners, Marcus Mariota, Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, and seven Super Bowl rings. Tom Brady, the GOAT, the greatest football player of all time, arguably. Definitely the greatest quarterback of all time. 7 rings plus 3 Heisman Trophy winners, and obviously no Super Bowls for those 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Hopefully we get one for Jameis this year. But how many sacks? Well, Marcus Mariota is, I mean, you're probably not in here if you're a Falcons fan. Maybe you are. And I'm not going to slander Marcus Mariota. I'm not going to talk badly about him, but he is not a top 20 quarterback in the NFL. As of right now, that's preseason rankings. That's expectations. That's, replacing Matt Ryan and the burden that comes with all that on a team that hasn't been good for a couple years, on an offense that is very dependent on Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson. I think the defense will have at least 2 sacks on Marcus Mariota. If I had to pick a number, 3 total. Cam Jordan will get 1. Marcus Davenport will get 1. Demario Davis will get 1. That'd be my prediction. I think up front, the D-line and the linebackers, and particularly Demario Davis, the captain, the pump-up speech guy, the man who is among men, the dog of all dogs, Double D, Demario Davis, is going to get all up and around Marcus Mariota and that O-line for the Falcons. So, yeah, the cover the cover image on this YouTube, I put I believe it was Knapp here at Boot Crew Media, who manages our Instagram account. Go follow Boot Crew Media on Instagram. But if that's his line, then he needs to put that on a t-shirt, because somebody tweeted, don't you wish, who was it? It was like Chad Johnson. It was like Chad Ochocinco, I think, who said, was it Chad Ocho? Yeah, I think it was. Don't you wish just Saints fans and Falcons fans can just like enjoy a beer together and everybody can just be friends? It was like an everybody love everybody tweet. And the Boot Crew Media comment and or reply and or post in response to that was, I'd rather do a cannonball into a volcano than sit and have a beer with a Falcons fan. I mean, that is creativity at its finest, because, I mean, I think it would be a cool, like, animated video scene, like an action figure game that, like, brought you into a new dimension if you did a cannonball into a volcano. But in real life, that would obviously kill you. So, yeah, clearly, whoever wrote the cannonball into a volcano would not like to have a beer with a Falcons fan. Who's the 53rd pick of the draft? Yeah, Alec Pierce. I'm gonna be all up on that research of Alec Pierce, the now starting wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. He's gonna be the wide receiver 3, but nevertheless, playing alongside Michael Pittman is gonna get you a couple catches. So look out for that boy from Cincy. Faced Sauce Gardner daily at practice and is now coached by Reggie Wayne, has Matt Ryan, and could become their wide receiver 1 pretty early. Okay, I disagree with that. Luke. Is it Luke? Scout without clout. Luke. I'm going to say it's Luke, not Luck. I disagree with that. I mean, Michael Pittman's the wide receiver 1. Yeah, that's like saying Chris Olave could become the wide receiver 1 for the Saints. Like, I don't think Chris Olave wants to be the wide receiver 1 for the Saints. Look at what happened to – oh, wow. I lost a lot of comments. Look at what happened to Marquez Callaway last season for the Saints. You had this Michael Thomas injury. You had, other things happen, and Traquan Smith wasn't, I guess, considered the wide receiver one, but it was Marquez Callaway, and he didn't have the season that anybody would want from him, including himself. So I wouldn't want Alec Pierce to be the wide receiver one. I'd want Michael Pittman to, but that's just my 2 cents. Which Falcon position group? I'll close out with this question. Which Falcon position group do you see giving the Saints issues? I mean, again, I still believe in Deion Jones, who's a speedy linebacker for the Falcons. So he's intercepts served, as I like to say. Another way of saying pick six, but he intercepts served the Saints in the Dome, a place that he grew up playing high school football and played at LSU. So I like Deion Jones, the Falcons. So I guess maybe the linebacker core, but my real answer to that question would be, look, I mean, just really tight end / Cordell Patterson, because Cordell Patterson is a wide receiver turned kick returner turned running back. He's like the Taysom Hill of the Falcons team. Will Lutz, during the offseason, said he, besides Deontay Hardy, our kick returner, is the best kick returner in the NFL. Not so much worried about special teams, but hey, I shouldn't say that. Look at LSU's game. Special teams costed them the game outright. You don't have those special teams mistakes. LSU does not need a 99-yard drive to end with a missed extra point. I think we win that game without those special teams mistakes. And obviously we tie the game without the one special team mistake. That was the blocked extra point with 0 seconds on the clock. So, yeah, Deion Jones might be on the PUP list. I was just trying to make the point that I believe in his comeback because he had a shaky season last season. And if I said that he could bother us, I apologize. I'll go back on my words there. Let me just confirm that, though. But no, Deion Jones, I'm not concerned about the defense at all. I really am not. The Falcons D-line is not bad. No, Atlanta Falcons, Deion Jones is off the PUP list. Yeah, he's off the PUP list. He practiced versus the Jaguars. So you're making me go back again. Come on. But yeah, their linebacker last year set the record most combined tackles last season with like 192. They let him walk to Jacksonville, such a Falcons thing to do. Yeah, who was that? I don't know. I forget. I got to do more Falcons defense research. I'm not concerned about them, regardless of Michael Thomas, because we have Alvin Kamara and we have Pete Carmichael at offensive coordinator. We have a great offensive line. We're going to be fine on the offensive side of things. The only thing that can really the only thing that can give Falcons a chance to win this game is if Kyle Pitts, who's going to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL, no matter what you think. He's going to be a top 10, definitely, probably top 5, maybe top 2 or 3 tight end when it comes to stats this year, because he's got a brand new quarterback in Marcus Mariota, and brand new quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, backup quarterbacks always depend on the big fella. And this man is huge. He's huge. He's fast. He's a wide receiver playing tight end. He's a tight end playing wide receiver, whatever you want to call it. And Cordell Patterson is a running back playing wide receiver, playing kick returner, playing everything. It's those two guys. The Saints defense cannot figure out a solution for, is the ball going to Cordell Patterson in the run game, in the pass game, in the screen game? If the ball's not going to Kyle Pitts, if they can figure out who's it going to and how to contain them from getting first downs and running up time of possession and running up, defensive tiredness, we're going to be fine. It's those two guys. And I think the Saints defense and Dennis Allen are well aware that it's those two guys that we have to stop. They don't have Russell Gage anymore. Russell Gage is on the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers. I don't like to curse, but that is a good one. Just thought of that. The Buccaneers. Open your fucking ears. the Buccaneers. All right. Last thing. Can't allow ATL to control the line of scrimmage. Their OL versus our D line. That's number one factor to watch, in my opinion. Number two is our O line has to pass block better when it's coming off ACL. Yeah, I mean, it's crucial. That might be the biggest factor in the game, and I haven't really talked about it. And he's one of my favorite players on the Saints. It's James Hurst at left tackle. Trevor Penning out indefinitely. James Hurst at left tackle, protecting Jameis Winston, who's coming off an ACL injuries, blindside. That is huge. Massive. If you don't have a healthy James Hurst, I would actually be concerned. And I haven't said that once this whole show because I'm trying to think positively about injury reports and progression. Linemen don't bother me too much as far as like, okay, if they're listed as limited, it's because they're huge, strong, 300-pound men who've worked their asses off in the heat all off season. They, can fall on glass and get up and pancake you. They're tough. They're mentally tough. James Hurst is as mentally tough and leadership resilient as anyone I've seen this offseason. So much maturity, so much class, such a hard worker. But we need him there. Because if we don't have James Hurst at left tackle, I guess we're putting Landon Young there or Calvin Throckmorton. Because we don't have Trevor Penning. So, yeah, I mean, James Hurst was listed as limited today. Jameis Winston says he loves him. He trusts him. I think he's going to be fine. He spoke in the locker room. I'll put that on Twitter or Instagram, whatever he said today, if I can find that out. But that is going to be crucial. And now I feel like I'm leaving the show with concern, and I didn't want to do that. So it's a great point. Winston coming off ACL, pass blocking needs to be better. Need to keep him upright. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not so much concerned about, like, if we don't have James Hurst, like, oh, James Winston's going to be hit so hard that he's got to come off the field or something like that. Like, I don't want to think about injuries. Let's think positively, Saints fans, Falcons fans. I'm cheering for you too. I hope you don't have any major injuries in week one. I hope you don't have any game time decisions that you have to deal with. I hope that no NFL team or fantasy football owner has any major injuries this season. It is inevitable, but let's not have it happen to a guy who has worked his ass off after an ACL injury. Like, the only person who has really dealt with that type of trauma as far as injury repetitiveness goes is Christian McCaffrey. And man, I don't care if he's in the NFC South. And I don't care if him getting injured is the reason you won your fantasy football team. Like, come on, man. That guy is so fun to watch. He is so talented. He can beat us. He's good enough in his prime, fully healthy, to beat the Saints defense. He's that good. And you all know I think the Saints have the best defense in the NFL and the best defensive coach in the NFL. Christian McCaffrey with a on-fire Baker Mayfield and a good Panthers defense has the ability to beat the Saints. It has happened before. And that's why I'm saying it can happen. And that's just really why I'm saying I don't want him to beat the Saints. I think the Saints defense is good enough to contain a guy like that, especially when they don't have a lot of other weapons on the Panthers. But he's so good that if he gets hurt again, I'm going to be very sad. And you should too. All right, so many more things to talk about. I am right at the 45-minute mark, so I'm going to wrap this baby up. This is Talk Colada, where we talk a lot of sports. This is going to be on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram at Talk Colada. And as always, follow Boot Crew Media, BOOTKREWE Media on all those social media platforms. This episode is decorated by Helm Paint, wagered by DraftKings, legalized by Bear Law, and trimmed by H2O Salon and Spa. I'm Jack Colada. This is Talk Colada, and I am signing out. Peace and love. Saints at Falcons, September 11th. this Sunday, and we got football tomorrow, baby. Bills at Rams. Who dat? And are you ready for some football? I know I am. Peace and love.